Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Great Malabite, good morning.
Good morning, Ruben.
Morning.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, sir.
You said you were not happy last night. You had to watch cartoons, or is it comedy? But I know you were excited about the match yesterday.
Yeah.
Well, let's start the review. Good morning, Tundu.
Good morning.
Yes. Let's start the review with these day newspapers, Nigeria's newspaper of records. As rightly mentioned by Rotus, everywhere in the front page of this day about insecurity. From the first story on top, the window story we call it, OPS, the organized private sector, urges federal government to save economy as insecurity worsens. Says Nigeria risks another recession. The next story, Afenifere postpones 70th anniversary celebrations, laments nationwide strife. Now, the story beside the photograph, Tambuwa El-Rufai rally Northeast states to combat banditry. The lead story, National Assembly laments over worsening insecurity as Buhari seeks U.S. help. Senate to meet President, service chiefs. House demands state of emergency. Security agencies silent over alleged Boko Haram flag hoisting in Niger. Senator says 42 communities occupied. Atiku Saraki profiles solutions. Terrorism in Nigeria complex, says UK minister. All over today's front pages of Nigerian newspapers, still the same story. The Punch newspaper. Governors cry out, demand action from Buhari as 21 more Nigerians killed. Insecurity level low, now terrible, senators. Bello laments Boko Haram's occupation. Security situation very pathetic. Buhari should be told the truth, says Zulum, Borno State Governor. National Assembly demands emergency declaration. Asks Buhari to seek foreign help. The photograph on the front page of the Punch newspaper, of course, those are the bodies of IDPs killed in Benue State. And Vanguard newspaper has the story. Insecurity, cheerful autumn reps call for emergency. Governor Autumn weeps as armed militia invade Benue IDPs camp. Kill 7, injure 9. Benue youths lay corpses on Makurdi Lafia Road, threatening reprisals. Calls on Buhari to declare emergency on security. Nigeria walking to its end. Middle Belt Forum. Declare state of emergency security now. Reps tell Buhari. Buhari meets Zulum, Tinubu, Akonde in Aso Rock. Urges U.S. to relocate AFRICOM headquarters to Africa. I am in Aso Rock to tell Buhari the truth, says Zulum. Army rages against sharing photos of slain soldiers in social media. The Daily Sun newspaper. Insecurity, Buhari seek external help. Daily Trust, insecurity, Buhari seeks U.S. help once AFRICOM relocated to Africa. No partnership can solve Nigeria's problem, UK minister. Senate calls for sophisticated arms. More security personnel. Declare state of emergency. Reps tell president. The New Telegraph newspaper. National Assembly demands state of emergency. Summon National Security Advisor, security chiefs. Lawan, Saraki senators ask president to seek foreign help. Buhari needs cooperation, understanding, says Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Child crisis. House invites foreign minister DG, NIA. The Daily Independent newspaper, rising insecurity, act now. Senate reps tell Buhari Now, the Daily Times newspaper, How to Check Drift to Anarchy by Atiku Lawan, Saraki Tinubu Zulum, others. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly. Now, the Times of London. 40 million people live in areas almost free from COVID. Scientists confident lockdown lifting is on track in the UK as a result of the vaccination that has taken place there. While the Guardian newspaper of UK, Prime Minister urged to come clean about cash for number 10. The Washington Post newspaper, fully vaccinated can go maskless outside, says CDC. While, of course, CDC, covering needed in crowded settings. Guidance is also losing for unvaccinated outdoors. It's a milestone development for tens of millions of Americans who are pandemic weary, that indeed those who are fully vaccinated can now go out maskless. And I'm sure that is music to the ears of many people in the US, and also an incentive for more people to go and take the jab. Now, Wall Street Journal, Google results smash ad sales record. Alphabet, that's the parent company of Google, the profit rose almost $18 billion, up by 162% as pandemic pushed lives online. Of course, fueled by the surge in digital advert spending that has strengthened the tech heavyweight, that's Google, even as regulators are trying to curtail the powers of Google. Reported first quarter sales of $55.31 billion, representing, of course, a milestone, and of course, Google's eminence, restating Google's eminence at the center of the digital commerce. Some are gaining from the pandemic, with most activities moving online, and most businesses also advertising online. It's not surprising that Google is making so much from the markets. Ruben, Rufai, and Tundu.
I mean, where do we really start from? Because almost all the stories are the same. Insecurity. But I think the hallmark for me yesterday was Governor Autumn's speech. And it was a very, very deep and heartfelt cry for help. And I think it just sums up everything that we've been talking about. If the chief security officer of a state, a governor, can come out to say, we are not weaklings, arm us, give us AK-47, let us face them, then it shows you how far we have come as a country. He went on and on and on, and he said something that touched me. He said, I'm tired of burying dead bodies. And I'm sure that echoes the sentiments across the country. Everybody's tired of burying dead bodies. Everybody's tired of the killings. There's a fatigue already.
Well, some time ago, some presidency spokesperson referred to some Nigerians as wailing wailers. I hope nobody will say that this time around.
I am happy to be a wailing wailer. In fact, call me the #1 wailing wailer.
Because we have so much to wail about.
I will wear the badge of a wailing wailer with proud honor. I will call myself a wailing wailer if that's what they call me. But God knows that we are all patriots. And patriots can't leave their country to waste. They speak up when their country is down. It's patriotism that makes people wail. So if you call me a wailing wailer, I'm excited. I am a wailing wailer.
Tundu, the buck stops at the president's table.
Yes,
What can this president do differently?
Yeah, that's President Truman. He literally had a sign on his desk that a friend of his gave him. The buck stops here. I wonder what kind of friends our leaders have. They usually just have a collection of sycophants. Frankly, nobody tells them the truth. It is up to the president to act. Governor Otom said, you disarmed us and you armed your brothers. That is a very troubling statement that he made there, amongst the whole range of troubling statements. That impression remains that this country is not for everybody, that this country is only for a certain faction. And even that faction, even the Fulanis, are completely disgusted at the fact that criminals have been allowed to run rampage, because most of the Fulanis are nothing like this. It has gotten beyond the point where it's even acceptable. The president has been told to go and ask for help. He did. He asked for help. He asked for the African headquarters to be moved to Africa, and I'm glad he did. That's the only hope for me so far. But you'll recall that he issued an order that anybody found wandering in the forest should be shot. And I said at the time, I agreed with that. I don't understand.
AK-47 rifle.
Yes. I didn't understand people quibbling about the niceties of that in the face of the emergency that we're going through, because I genuinely don't believe in criticism for criticism's sake. Everybody goes on about how Buhari doesn't do anything, he's not talking. He then decided to announce that, and people were still complaining. No, if you are wandering around the forest with, heavily armed, you are not there for a picnic, and you should be shot. But have you heard of any of those shootings? I haven't so far. So really, what's going on with that instruction?
Do the soldiers go into the forest where these bandits live, where they are keeping these kids they kidnapped?
We all know where they are.
Anyway, first, security. We can't talk too much about the security situation in the country. We're dealing with security in terms of physical security in many states of the Federation. We're also talking about security in terms of health. Earlier on, we talked about the federal government talking about some travel advisory. And before we ended that segment, I made a point that the Director General of the Civil Aviation Authority is talking about the Emirates being allowed back into the country. Well, the point I really wanted to make was to remind the DG of the NCAA of the fact that Emirates has connecting flights to India, and they've not stopped those connecting flights. And if we're worried about flights, about the situation in India, in Turkey, and elsewhere, this may not be the right time to allow those flights through Emirates from India to come into Nigeria. But that's food for thought. One other story that I think it's interesting to me is on page 5 and page 46 of This Day Today. And that has to do with Afenifere, 70 years. Afenifere was established April 28, 1951. So that organization, which has been promoting progressive politics in Nigeria, is 70 today. It was established April 28th, 1951 at a meeting in Owo by 8 persons. Chief Awolowo was there, Chief Ajasin was there, Chief Oredein was there, the Akinsanya brothers, they were there. And it was that Afenifere group that led to Action Group, that led to UPN, and all of those parties that came from it. However, Afenifere says they are not celebrating, that they cannot afford to celebrate on this occasion of the 70th anniversary. And why? Again, because of security in Nigeria. They say the country is not safe, and that they will celebrate only when there is an enabling environment for celebration and reflection in Nigeria. So this is where we are, and it is sad.
All right. Thank you so much all for your comments. Thank you so much, Mr. Efene, most importantly for your time.